Hi Henry, Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to run through your swing today, talk through some things, and then I'll stop it, slow it down. We'll draw some lines and point out some of the things I talk about. I like your setup position, you're athletic, good bend in your knees are staying inside your feet. It's a very good athletic position. When you load into that back leg. You get good separation with your hands. Everything looks good. Now, when we set that stride foot down, I see one thing that we can improve, and it's just going to make you a much, much better hitter. And I see here we've kind of banged this ball up into the top of the cage. This pitch was probably middle, maybe even middle away. And the one thing that I'm going to point out to you is going to help you stay on this ball and cover this ball and stay through this ball longer, so that you can be a more complete hitter. It will definitely help you with the off-speed stuff, the breaking balls and the change-ups, okay? We'll slow it down a little bit now. We'll get into that load. When I'm talking about loading, loading into that back leg, what we see a lot of young hitters do is they get the weight on top of this leg, and this back knee gets over the back foot. But when we load into our backside right here, this knee stays inside the back foot. So when the stride foot sets down, what we see is an athletic position, so that we have good bend in both knees. Okay, we want equal amount of bend in both of these knees, and we want both of these knees inside of our feet. We want our hips square. We want our shoulders square. We want our hand-shoulder height. We want our hands separated behind our back knee. We also want this head in an attacking position over the belt buckle. I look at your head a little bit, and it's kind of sitting on this back leg. And really, there's two reasons for this. You can see that your hip line is starting to open up. Let me get rid of these lines. Your hip line is starting to open up. This front hip is starting to leak open to the pull side a little bit too quickly. When that happens, the barrel of the bat, the path of your bat, will follow that particular path. Really, one of the main things that causes all this is the stride foot. When we set this stride foot down, if we open that up more than 45 degrees, that's going to open up the front hip. Okay? Now, this stride foot doesn't have to be totally closed up. It doesn't need to be totally square, such as this, but we need to keep it at 45 degrees or less, somewhere in this neighborhood. If it opens up beyond, it's going to open that front hip. Usually, when coaches say, hey, keep your front side closed, we're not talking about that front foot. We're talking about the front hip. So the front foot can get to 45 degrees, and you can still keep that front hip in there and keep it closed up, so you have a path that's available to be able to hit the ball in, middle, and away. When we open it up this much, we really we're only in a position to handle that pitch that's middle in or inner third, and effectively stay through that ball. As I mentioned earlier, as we were running through your swing, off-speed pitches are going to be really tough to stay on. Anything that's outer third, anything like a change-up, that's a change of speed, is going to be tough to stay on, because the barrel of our bat just doesn't stay in the zone as long as we need it to in order to stay on those off-speed pitches. Okay? So let's try to get that stride foot more to 45. Now, usually what happens when the stride foot opens is we end up opening and then working around the ball. You can see here your hands are going to finish around your body, and what we want to have happen is, if this foot stays here, once we connect, this elbow and the back hip connect, we should have our hands in this position too. So the front hip opens, and now the hands are kind of dragging, and if they drag behind this power source of this elbow and the back hip, if our hands are connected in this particular line with the elbow and the back hip, now the hands could go forward to the ball in. They could go from there, they could go forward to the ball away, and from there they could go forward, or the ball middle, and then from there they could go forward to the ball away. We're opening up our front side, so our hands are dragging behind our power source, and really they're not in control of our direction. Our direction has all started with this stride foot opening up and this front hip opening up. So This pitch is probably out here, I would say, in the middle to middle away range, and the hands drag, and when the hands drag, the barrel drops. And that's what we're going to see as we go forward. The barrel drops, and so we just miss the underneath side of the ball and we pop it up into the cage. Okay, really, Henry, the best way to work on this is on a tee. We all of the hitters that I work with, when we're working on a particular mechanical issue, we always work on the tee because we can set the tee exactly where we want it and work on a particular location, and our body has to be in a particular position in order to handle that location or any type of off speed. So what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you load, get the foot down, okay, at this position right here. Now when you do that and you set your foot down, let's check and let's make sure that this thing sits at a 45 right there. It's got to be at a 45. And if that sits at a 45, your hip line will go from this way, it'll go to this way. Okay? That's going to keep you squared up and on the ball. We're going to set a tee out here on the outer third. We're going to put it just off or just inside your front stride foot. Okay? Put a ball out there. And now, as you start to drive and rotate into your front side, all right, let this elbow slide underneath, and you'll get to that connected point where your hands, your elbow, and your back hip are all going to be in alignment. Okay, right there. Now what we see is we see the hands way back here. See the hands way back there dragging. All right, we need to get those hands over here lined up with that elbow and that back hip. So now the direction to this ball is going to be able to bring the bat to this ball and good full extension through this ball. If we drag our hands or open up and spin and let our hands drag, there's two things that might happen here. We might make up for it by rolling our top wrist, but that's going to be a ground ball to the left side of the cage. Or we might do what we're doing here, which is let the hands drag behind everything, and then we're just going to pop this ball up into the cage. We want to let the elbow slide under, let the hand and the elbow and the back hip connect, and then I want to keep my top hand, keep this top hand on the bat. I want to keep it in a palm up position, staying through this ball out here on the outer of the plate so I can drive this ball to the right side. Okay? We don't want it to drag and then roll. See how it rolls right there? We want that top hand to stay in this palm up position right here, but contact is going to be out here. So I got to stay palm up. I extend through that ball, and that's going to keep my barrel staying through the path of this pitch, and I'm going to hit more line drives instead of roll over ground balls and pop up fly balls to the right side. Okay, it's really Henry. It's the top hand function is really like skipping a rock on a flat on a lake, a flat rock on a lake. When the elbow slides under, the hand, it connects with your elbow and your hip, and then when you release the rock, it stays flat. Well, that's what I want my top hand to do. The elbow is going to come underneath. It's going to connect with my hip. My hand's going to be right there. Now keep that top hand going, staying palm up. Contact, full extension to where here's contact, full extension of the barrel there. Now somewhere over here, your wrist is going to roll, but you'll have a much longer, much fuller finish, and you will have stayed through this ball. It's not going to hurt you on the ball in. It's not going to hurt you on the ball away. It's going to, it's going to help you immensely on the ball away, and it's going to help you immensely on off-speed pitches. So, Henry, this is a drill. I know it's going to help you, and work on it as often as you can because it's just going to improve you. All right, buddy?